Welcome back, everybody, to our second semi-finalist game ahead of us at Enter the Battlefield here in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada.
He's getting it.
At
He's getting it.
Davis and Young. So we are excited to have this Highlander Invitational. We have had some great matches. We've had some stifling matches. We've had some games that it feels like have gone to turn 7. There's lots of different things that have been happening here, and we're excited for this next match coming up.
Yeah, this is the format where all those things and more can happen. We are, I think, going to see some wild stuff in this next match. We're going to bring up the bracket in just a second and some deck lists in just a second before we get started. Why don't we go to the bracket? Let's go to the bracket. So we just watched Cameron on Scape Shifts, Time Walk, Turns deck versus Matthew on Sultai Reclamation, Wilderness Reclamation. Thank you, sir. And we had Matthew coming out on top of that, so he's into the finals. And now we are going back to see Sia again with Jeskai Green. We saw him in the first round we streamed, the quarterfinals against Eric. And he's up against David Vance, one of the famous Vance brothers.
Oh yes.
With 4-color quote-unquote fast lands. I mean, I'm just gonna call this need for speed lands because he has a need for speed with this deck. Let's bring up.
Can we
bring
check
up the deck?
this
We
card?
gotta change the.
Oh yeah.
Over here. Yeah, just do this one.
This one.
No.
Where's
no.
Dave? Where's Dave? This
Right
one here.
No. Oh, David. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
Did I say Rick? I meant.
No, you said Dave.
Oh, I
You
did say David. Okay.
We should do close cameras here.
Hold on. There we go.
And we need this namesake card of the deck after it stops freezing for me.
You gotta hit the trade.
And there we go.
All right. Need for speed. So this deck, just to go through it generally, David is going to be looking to play a bunch of lands. I actually want to call him David Ragavan Nimble Pilfer Vance because this guy has that card in his opening hand almost all the time. Double mics. I think that's good, right? Double mics is good. So he always has Ragavan Nimble Pilfer, and that's just like a good card in his deck. Like generally, he's all about putting lands into play. He's got exploration. He's got fast spawn. So there's lots of like strip lock, wasteland lock kind of stuff going on. But then this need for speed card, if you've never seen it before, it combos with things like Titania, Protector of Argoth, to basically. We got echo going on.
That should be better now.
Okay, how's that? Anyone in the chat want to let us know how that sounds? Please do. We have, so Need for Speed, if you want to just hover over that card. So this lets him sack a land to give another creature haste. Yes, awesome. And then that in combination with Titania, which, I'm just messing it all up over here.
It's
here we
okay.
go. So basically, Titania comes into play. He gets a 5/3. He sacks a land, makes the first 5/3 have haste. Sacking the land gets another 5/3. You basically just put like 20 power or more of haste onto the board. No one can see you. So
I know. I just spilled coffee all over me.
No one can see. So Need for Speed is pretty cool in this deck and good. And we've already seen Sia's deck here. Let's bring him up.
Let's look at the namesake of. We should look at 2 cards for Sia's deck here.
Yes.
One of them is Tasha's Tie Binder.
Tashana's
Tie Binder. We have to look at this one. This card, we were hoping for some great stifling abilities for it. And we saw one almost happen, but it didn't. So we're hoping that Sia here can show some of this without dress downing his own Tasha this time. So I think it will happen. I think he's going to learn from his mistake in the first round, and we're going to see this deck maybe come to fruition. So I still want to see Comet, the Stellar Puppy, come out as a Planeswalker. We haven't seen it yet, and this thing just looks fun.
Yeah, Comet, a.k.a. Cosmo, is I think what we actually
Yeah, we call him Cosmo.
Yeah, he's Cosmo to us. So... Now we got no mics.
Now we should have mics.
How are we doing now?
Hopefully,
thank you for letting us know.
So now we have some fast lands for the piece. and exploration into it. Wow, a spell pierce. Okay, there's some good action happening already. Exploration, I think that's a really good thing to counter, especially when Dave's trying to go fast.
This is very different from the last match where we saw like 3 turns go by and like nothing was played. It was
Nothing.
just land.
Yeah, we had a great conversation. Ooh.
That's a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Not the best with the Spell Pierce, but Sia.
Maybe you can do this next turn. Draw 6.
That would be pretty gross.
That'd
if we can pull
be
that
good.
off.
That'd be good.
This would be an achievement unlocked kind of scenario for sure if we were to see that happen.
It will be interesting to see what Dave does. Plays an exploration map. Just trying to set up. Sia has shields down right now. Well, of course, he could have Force of Will, Force of Negation, these types of counter spells or permission spells. But I think he knows he's probably pretty in the clear here. And Sia's going to feel pretty good about that exploration being countered on turn 1. And, we'll see what he follows up after this, too.
The question from Spazzy Whackjob, and no, I'm not calling anyone names. that is this person's handle. Is Dave playing Solemnity combo? I don't believe he is. Just double checking real quick. Does not look like he is. No Solemnity visible to me. I can't remember, what is it that Solemnity combos with? It's the
no counters, isn't it not? Players can't get encounters.
Yeah,
right?
but it's Solemnity plus like the 9 lives kind of card, or there's a couple.
Basically, you just lock the game out, and
right?
They can't do anything.
Yeah. So David, I would say, is more of an aggressive lands deck. Like he's playing a handful of like smaller creatures, small ball creatures like Ragavan, which can definitely snowball. But he's also playing just like big things. So he's got Prime Time and Titania and Escape Shifts for things. So Perennial Behemoth. That's actually a card I am eager to play. I've never actually played myself, nor actually seen. So
Perennial Behemoth.
Yeah, 9 lives for
one of the new
life.
ones.
Gotcha. Merit Lage. Yeah, I don't actually know. Is he running? I don't think he's running that either.
I don't think he's running Merit Lage.
Thespian Stage Dark Depths. There is no Thespian Stage and no Dark Depths.
Yeah,
either.
none of that. So
yeah, so it's more like the combos that David is going for with his lands deck is more of like strip lock you out, wasteland you out, kind of that sort of thing, or just like fast. Yeah. He's got to be playing. Yeah, he's got Courser of Krufix, so like Fastbond, Zern Orb, Courser of Krufix. What's the Crucible of Worlds, like all that kind of stuff, to just like ramp out a bunch of lands, go nuts.
Yeah.
Bit of a slower start for Dave.
And look, Ragavan was countered.
Oh, Ragavan.
Not allowed.
Funny seeing you here.
And Ragavan's gone, oh, thank you very much for the follow there, Alice.
And we froze a little bit. That's okay. We'll be back.
Oh, this says the stream's still going.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Let's bring up the Flame of Anor.
This one's one of the new cards,
deck.
right? So,
right
where is she? There.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this card, Adam?
I think it's pretty cool. You definitely, I mean, if you're playing it just for one option, I think it's okay. It's not great. 3 mana at instant speed, draw 2 cards is fine, and it has some flexibility otherwise. But I think like you want to be playing a certain number of wizards to really make this pop off. And turns out, Dreadhorde Arcanist is definitely a wizard. So
he calls himself a wizard. He looks like it too. He looks pretty powerful in this picture, especially with Flame and Anor helping him out, making that allowed he can choose 2 abilities or 2 modes there.
Yeah. And Expedition Map is definitely an artifact that it's awkward because you don't want to spend like a ton of resources to get rid of it, because it does like it's only a 1-cost thing, and then they can pay like the 2 mana later. But when you get to kill it, and I assume he drew 2 cards if I were to guess, that seems like a pretty good deal for 3 mana. Unfortunately though, Dreadhorde Arcanist not big enough to flash it back. That would be some powerful magic.
Now, that would be good. Maybe he's got a pump spell. I don't think so, looking at this list at all. But so that will stay there, and Dreadhorde will.
But you know what he could do, and it actually would work? Get the initiative, put +2, like 2 counters.
There we go.
On the Dreadhorde Arcanist, then you can flash back the Flame of Anor. That's
right.
That's powerful.
He is running Aragorn, right? He is running.
Well, that's the Monarch, though. That's not the.
The Monarch.
That's not the initiative. Yeah, you
Where's
got the
our friend?
White Plume.
White Plume.
Which is
for this
the
piece.
only initiative card in his deck.
I
if I'm
think
not
yes,
mistaken.
it's the only one.
He's not going into like Caves of Chaos
No.
Adventure or Aarakocra Sneak or anything like that.
No.
Which, I mean, Caves of Chaos Adventure does seem pretty good. Actually, I'm honestly a little surprised not to see it here. I think it's pretty common or not an uncommon sight for these kinds of decks. But it is another 4-drop, and he's got a lot of 4-drops between Aragorn, Jace, Omnath, Minsk, and Boo,
Cosmo.
Cosmo.
Like, this is,
Cosmo
I guess,
Kramer.
like what you take out for him, right? That's
Yeah.
the thing. That's the alternate option of it.
Yeah.
So,
And
it's like just a far sheet, right?
yeah, and Dave, he's got this. What's that card called again?
Are we saying our little
the
Haywire
little
Mite?
Haywire Mite? Yes, thank you. He's got Haywire Mite. Not the ideal draw in his deck. I think David usually plays this as a target to fetch up with Urza's Saga when it explodes after the 3rd step.
Yep.
And so, like, him playing it out, a bit unfortunate. I'm sure David would have preferred to see something a bit more impactful, but
Yeah, not the best blocker as well for this
no,
piece.
it's not doing
so-
a whole lot. That is a very nice breeze. Can we just leave that door open, actually?
Yeah,
No?
that is
No.
very cooling, I have to say.
That was nice. That was nice.
That's the one thing about Dreadhorde Arcanist. I remember when it first came out, the fact that its toughness is 3 just makes it so much better too, right? It's a bit harder to kill. You have to lightning bolt it, and it blocks well too if you're on that. Usually you're not going to be blocking because you want to be able to get these other pieces. So Minsk and Boob. Yeah, you
Pump that up.
Yeah, that's a really
Yeah,
good point there,
that's,
Nightmare No More. That's a good one.
I forgot about that one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Let's bring that up. Yeah, turns out Minsk and Boo doesn't need to put the counters on the hamster.
Yeah.
You can put it on
saw
anything
that
with
little
trample or haste, right? Yeah, trample or haste. Which there's not a ton of trample or haste otherwise in the deck, but Dreadhorde Arcanist seems like a pretty good target for that.
Yeah, and it has trample, right? So you can do that piece, and we can go from there.
Yeah. Looks
I
like
feel like he is just kind of hanging out. He's got permission spells of some sort. They're both just kind of slapping each other for one each turn and trying to wait for someone to do something first.
yeah. I mean, everything staying the same. Sia's winning this race by a landslide, 12 to 17 life totals. Like Dave's been losing a lot of life from the nurturing peatland and fetching, and like that's kind of expected for this deck. There's purposefully a lot of fetch lands to go with all the synergies of Courser of Crewfix and whatnot. Crucible of Worlds and Ramanap Excavators. Speaking of,
there we go.
and it's gone.
Yeah. And it's gone.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
That's gone. And that makes sense.
I mean, Sia, there's obviously the potential combo implications of something like a Courser of Crewfix on the board for David, but I think Sia is probably at this point just more concerned with putting something that can block the Dreadhorde Arcanist and getting David a bunch of value over time.
Absolutely.
With playing lands off the top of his deck.
And gaining that life back, right? So, that one life from a land negates this Dreadhorde. So, cracks the peat, draws a card. I think, that's the right thing to do. You're kind of you're at 10. Yeah, you still have time, but you're going to want to start doing something. I did see Sia flash a Force of Negation from his hand, so he definitely is holding up some permission spells here.
And he can hardcast it.
He can hardcast it.
Doesn't need to exile nothing if he doesn't want to.
Places Beseiju. I feel like that tells us that David doesn't have a ton of lands in his hand too, right?
Yeah, but there's also not a ton of targets.
He played it. He played it.
It's happening. Click on it.
I can't.
Why?
I don't know.
To click somewhere else on the
Screen.
There you go.
There we go. He has to counter this, right?
For speed. I mean,
no.
I don't think so. No. I mean, so this is kind of a do nothing on its own. Let's be honest.
Nothing's really happening.
It's a one-man enchantment. It's just sitting there, not doing much of anything. But it does represent some shenanigans later on. So it'll definitely put a question to Sia if he plays something like Titania, to be like, all right, you gotta do something about this now. Whether it's about the Titania or it's about the need for speed, and it's not unassailable, right? Like Titania, there's a lot of triggers that go on the stack and things that would be, waiting for other things to happen. So you can't. It can be interrupted.
Yes.
For sure, but it does maybe present a risk.
Do you think if Dave's going to lose, he's going to give his Haywire Might haste?
Just sack all his lands to give it haste 5 times?
Yeah.
Might be. He might.
Maybe.
Yeah, he
Maybe.
might.
Now, do you think his Haywire Might
Haymire White.
just be thrown across the... Oh, okay, and it's gone.
Oh.
Well...
And it's gone.
and it's gone.
Okay, wait.
Sack a land, give it
No,
haste.
no. Okay, so there's actually potentially, depending on how this card is worded. Oh, okay. So I was thinking if it said draw 2 cards, and then deals 5 damage to target creature. If Dave was able to sack the Haywire Might in response, it would have actually countered the Flame of Anor, but the Flame of Anor says target player draws 2 cards. So no matter what,
it's going to
Haywire Might sacking itself not going to do anything to interrupt it. That's definitely
that definitely is exiled.
Yep,
We just had to make sure it's in the right zone. I think the table judge was just...
Rob's not much of a modern player, so he doesn't know this is what happens with a
it's
Snapcaster
arena.
No,
Goes to where it needs to.
Rob is also a top-notch player in addition to a top-notch judge. So, he's doing a lot.
Yeah,
he's juggling a lot.
Yeah, he's got the store champs for standard here. I think that he's helping out with
done.
too. It's done.
It's done.
Now Yu-Gi-Oh!
Store champion has been decided upon. He does not know anything about. Riley. Good job, Riley.
Nice.
Store champion.
Congratulations,
Standard.
Riley. I don't know who you are.
Blue-white control. Boo.
Yeah, boo. Yeah,
Boo.
We take it actually all back.
Yeah.
We definitely had a store champ here though. And now we have our store champ for Canadian Highlander.
Not yet.
But there's no blue-white control.
No.
In these 3 players that we have here.
No. I mean, there's blue-white cards in his deck.
But not just control. I think
So
it'd be hard.
it is kind of funny. We were talking about how the life total is. It was 12-17, and all of a sudden we blinked and Sia is at 13 now. So the life totals are much closer. But he has a board presence, and David
3
does not.
each time, going to 9 here, and
and
Casket
this time he
Probe
actually
again.
got to do something with the Dreadhorde Darkness. That's
He did it.
fantastic. Wow.
Basically,
Did we see
pay
what was
one,
in
draw
David's?
card, draw
Does David even have a hand?
he had one card, and I'm trying to figure out which one it was, but
Let's go UW control. No.
shh, we're not allowed. Shh. I'm trying to. I don't think the card is going to be quite impactful right now.
Oh,
I
Dark
think it was
Heart
this.
of the Wood. Okay.
I'm not sure.
And,
No, that
and
is it.
Sia is just nah. Counter
Just says
that.
no?
I mean, I'm not sure. I'd be curious to ask Sia after this game, like, what he was thinking about in that case, because to me, Dark Heart of the Wood, yes, represents him like gaining a bunch of life and like prolonging the game, but is he worried about that? Like, he's just gonna chunk him for 3 a turn over some number of turns.
And it's sack land. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Sacrifice a forest even. And he doesn't have all forests. He only has three forests, I think.
Yeah.
So
2 forests. It wouldn't be that. He lives 3 more turns, but
do you
also
care
has 3
about
less
that
land.
versus say like something else that would be a non-creature spell that presents a
Perfect example.
This seems pretty good to counter. Maybe
I think it's a commentator curse or a foreshadow. Okay,
he's just counterspell flush, so it doesn't even matter, I guess.
This seems a bit written now, unless Dave has another great top deck.
So that would be a good reason for him to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it. I'm gonna counter this because I just have so many counter spells. I don't even know what to do with them. This is proxied because this card is incredibly hard to find. This is Nissa Resurgent Animist from everyone's favorite set, March of the Machine Aftermath. Where you got 7-8 card packs and 18,000 repeats in a given box if you were to buy a whole box.
Oh my goodness!
But this card is pretty cool and potentially.
And it was
quite
doing
good.
works in Modern too at one point, right? So the Elementals deck when that was. It still is very good, right? So this card is very good.
Off the top of my head, I can see there's Elvish Reclaimer. I think he's got some of the pitch elementals, I would assume.
I don't think so.
Does he not?
No, he does not.
Not even no.
No.
Huh.
No Fury, no.
So is he just playing it to get the
land
extra mana? But then, like, that seems strange.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Dave just scoops it up.
I mean, I guess to be fair, it does combo off with all like the fast on type stuff, right?
Yes.
So I guess that's how you're what you're doing there. So we see Sia take convincingly, I would say. David didn't have, even though he kept a 7-lander or seven card hand, I should say. Kind of struggled, and I think part of that is like David's deck. There's a lot of synergy between the pieces, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of these cards on their own don't do a whole lot. There's like into that synergy.
Yeah.
Where Sia is just playing like the best cards across every color. Like
Yeah,
all of these
all the
are
ones
pretty
that he
individually powerful. There's some synergy, obviously, like Dreadhorde Arcanist and spells it can recast. But he can spend a card removing a certain threat or countering a certain thing, and then some of the other things in David's deck looks a bit anemic. What are your thoughts?
And that's kind of the thing too, right? David's deck could really go under a lot of these permission spells, it feels like it sometimes, because it is that land base, right? So it can get around that, but he's going to need those key pieces still, right? And it's like right there, I think it was just a perfect example of it didn't fall together, right? And when it could have, Sia just has a permission spell for it. He has a counter spell, right? So
I am curious what could have happened if say Dave was on the play, because in that first turn he would have been able to land the exploration.
That's huge.
Sia would not have had the spell pierce available, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had blue mana.
the play draw in this matchup, I feel like, is a big thing.
Yep.
So we'll see Dave on the play this time. If he can get an exploration or mana that's a bit quicker out there, I think that'd be really strong for him. Get off the ground and hopefully start working his magic.
Yeah. So Spazzy Whackjob pointing out that there is an elemental at least that we can see here
Endurance.
quickly with Endurance, and there is also Elvish Reclaimer, which granted can pop off in his deck, being able to search for lands, and like as you saw in that game and in most games that you see David play with this deck, it's not uncommon for him to have multiple lands in the graveyard, easily more than 3. We don't need to go back. I was prepping it.
I thought you wanted to show it.
Yeah, we're players are just shuffling up, not quite ready. Looks like we're going to be resolving mulligans in a second. So while we're waiting, let's go to where are those? Yeah.
Make sure to follow, subscribe to the YouTube,
Yes.
the TikTok we have as well, all the social medias and other pieces. I think there's a link tree that's been put in here. The Nightbot just put it out a moment ago, right? See us on enterthebattlefield.ca, right? We are based out of Ontario in North America. We are, we have Canlander. I believe it's once a month, I want to say, right? Is it? And then we have weekly events for Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, lots of different formats, One Piece. So come on out and check our stores out. So we appreciate everybody's support.
While they're resolving mulligans, let's do another look back into the recent past of sets that have released. Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I felt there was a lot of cards in this set that shook up the format. I was like, oh, I want to build a Merfolk deck with all the new Merfolk in this set. But any cards that really spoke to you on a fundamental level?
On a fundamental, are we talking about Canlander specifically, or are we talking about just for fun?
I guess more for Canlander, but it could be for any kind of Canlander. Like, oh, this maybe is like a new kind of deck I want to build, or new type of a cool card otherwise that I think would be fun playing.
I think one of the cards that I saw that looked really fun, and well, I think we can see that format warping, not Canlander, right, but Triumphing Carnosaur.
Trumpeting Carnosaur,
Trumpeting Carnosaur was one of those. One deck that, I want to just have as a pet deck is the Millennium Calendar. I know that would be pretty hard to make for things. And then for myself, right, I'm a big Goblins player, right, and other things that are happening, and a Cat player too, right? So if we're looking at Sovereign, something like that too.
Yeah.
It just, all these, I find with these new sets too, right, for Canlander, I'm big into Bant Blink.
Yep.
I'm just looking at what can help with that, so it's tough for me to sometimes look at these. I just wait until it kind of fizzles out, what are other people playing, and then I'll go from there. I'm not as good as brewing as other people, so I just kind of go from there.
Yep. It looks like our ready. We're going to send it back to the gameplay, and David is going to be on the play this time. Looks like he's keeping 6, and Sia's keeping 7. This was a great idea, by the way, getting the players to
Who was this? Was this you?
No, I think it was actually it was one. I think it was Sia. It
Yeah?
was like or Rock. I don't even know. I don't
One
know.
of them.
Someone. It wasn't me. I'm not that smart. But makes it very easy for us to know
Ooh.
kind of what's going on with these starting hands. So Elvish Reclaimer. No fetch land off the hop though,
Yeah.
which indicates to me he may not have a fetch land.
Yeah, unless he's holding it, but I doubt that.
David is usually not
Island
one to
Go.
sandbag fetch lands. He fetches with reckless abandon, I
Yeah.
would say. So I don't know. I mean, Elvish Reclaimer, again, it's a synergy thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get the 3 lands in the graveyard. 1 mana for a 3/4 is pretty insane.
Yes.
Plus
Very
more
good.
value on top of that, right? But
Soul Land? What is he planning to do here?
I don't know,
Fast
but he
little
can do a number of different potential crazy things. He can play Fast Bond and not get spell pierced.
That's it.
Bam.
That's the plan. Will he do that?
Oh, so he's
Wait.
actually just passing the
Oh.
turn. So how does this work with City of Traders? Let's double check here. I'm pretty sure it just if it enters. No, if you play.
Another land.
Is the Oracle wording for this? Maybe you can check this. Is the Oracle wording for this if you play a land or if another land comes into play under your control that you have to sacrifice it? Because that.
Yeah, I'm not
I'll
100%
double
too
check.
sure
I'll double
on
check.
that piece.
Keep up the
The
commentary
stream
while
for
I
this
look.
piece. A question is in the chat: would I ever play Soul Cleaver in Goblins? So that card is whenever another artifact or creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 on equip. Personally, no. I've played Goblins in Modern for probably 6 years, I'd say, and it's just not one of those cards, especially in Modern or you kind of other formats. Your Goblins are small. Yes, making one big one seems good, but there's other just utility cards that are better, and Goblins that utility-wise will work better together. Just the piles that you can make in Canlander from Goblins, especially with Goblin Recruiter, are just good, right? And an artifact, if it's taking away from the percentage of Ringleader or Muxus, doesn't seem worth it enough for them dying. So
That new Menace Goblin, though, the one that has Descend, that
Yes.
one's interesting. The 1 mana guy.
yes,
Yeah.
I'd say that one's good, especially if you're playing the red-black version, right, of it. So because you're going to have Slinging, the Menace
Yeah.
piece is really good. You can minus something, which is always
Just
better
gets big
because
over turns, right?
Big
Like-
over turns with the Descend piece. So if Goblins are dying or you're sacking them, right,
Yep.
like that's a good piece within it. The only thing that's about that is I'd say is they-
Okay.
Is that a Wastelands?
Yeah. No. Quick update here. So,
Yeah.
I did look up the ruling, and
Okay.
the Oracle text is when you play another land, sacrifice the City of Traders. So David is able to
put a land
fetch
in?
a land out with the Elvish Reclaimer without triggering the city to kill itself. It felt like there was maybe a little bit of a discussion at the end of the turn there about. I don't know. I'm kind of speculating here, but yes, there's also a wasteland on Sia's side, so that might have also
Spellpierce
had
on Lotus Cobra.
that might have also had Sia or David hesitate to use the ability. And no, that's Spell Snare. Spell Snare.
Spell Snare.
Yeah,
sorry.
Spell Pierce does not hit
A
creatures,
creature.
so this
Two
is Spell
draw,
Snare.
Two CMC.
I mean, I feel like every time a Spell Snare counters something, an angel gets its wings or something like that,
It's
because
true.
it's just like it's so like, oh, the chef's kiss.
It feels good.
Yeah, it just feels good. And I feel like Spell Snare doesn't come up as much in Modern anymore, probably because there's a lot more like just free spells now, like Fury, not Fury anymore, but Solitude and Endurance.
I'm
and,
trying to think.
But it was played a lot in
because
Modern for a time.
Bowmaster, right? Orcish Bowmaster 2.
Oh, so you think it's still reasonable?
I think it's okay, but I don't think it's
Ren and
worth
6,
it.
I guess, is still
Ren
there,
and
right?
6, yeah. There's definitely some really good targets with Spell Snare still, but I
Some
think
decks it's dead.
yeah, it's just
totally dead.
Yeah, it's dead. Your Spell Pierce, right? Like if we're looking at Murktide and all that, it's just they're playing the two of Spell Pierces in some of the lists, so
Yeah,
I think Spell Snare, I should say, not as prevalent.
yeah.
So tries to get this Lotus Cobra, doesn't happen. Plays a Badlands, gets a Strip Mine out with Elvish.
Yeah, fetched it
from
up with the Elvish Reclaimer.
So
Which, I mean, I guess this is like a very weird game of chicken, right? Because Sia's Wasteland can hit the Strip Mine.
a Bolt. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. But then also, yeah, I don't know.
Do you in this instance I feel like I'm just hitting his strip mine right now. And then we are at 2 lands apiece.
Yeah.
Unless he has something, because I don't want to
Right.
be taking off just my basic island.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. So we're
We're going to one
eye
land
for an
each.
eye here. Yeah. I feel like David.
Your forest or your island gets hit here. No? I guess it depends what he has.
No, I think you want to take out the red-blue land.
Sorry, that's what I mean.
I don't
Island's
think
left.
Sia is playing Gush. No, does not look like he's playing Gush. So him having the basic island out, I don't think really matters.
Oh my goodness, he stifled it. He stifled. Okay, I think of the tournament so far, the stifle ability, has been the most
impactful. Yes.
Or not happening as an ability.
The least happeningest ability.
Yeah. The most happening and the least happening at the same time
Yeah.
are these things. Playing against Rainbow Robots in Modern, I have not. Oh, this is
this
with
is
the new
Polaris.
ley line, right? So
with the
that's my guess. I haven't checked into it.
Scion of Draco or whatever it is. Is that what you're talking about? Rainbow Robots? What are you talking about, Spazzy Whackjob? And I'm again, to be clear for people watching the VOD, this is someone's handle, not me just calling random people.
We almost see like the chat log on the side of the stream just so people can see
real.
that. Wow, so Stifle playing a big piece in there, and it looks like
Sia's
just
just
drop going.
Sia's just been having these like 1 mana effective counter spells at just the perfect time. See, this would have been perfect for him to have opposition agent.
It would be right here.
I mean, except Sia probably has a counter spell or a removal spell or something.
It probably does.
Yeah.
Valakut and Caracas were the last 2 land played here as well. Caracas? I'm trying to think of what that may have an effect on Sia here,
Yeah.
right? So Aragorn.
He does have a fair number of guys, but like the creatures that he plays, even if they can get bounced, I don't think he even cares. Like Omnath, yeah, okay, bounce my Omnath. I'll get another card and Boo
Boo's kind of the biggest thing I feel like right that it affects out of the creature suite that he's playing. So yeah, other than and Ragavan, that's really about it that it affects him most. And speaking of which, taking the Monarch. So Aragorn, I haven't seen this card been played yet, but this is something that I was looking forward to seeing. So when it enters, Sia's going to take the Monarch. Now, what's kind of nice about this too is even if David bounces it and takes the Monarch back, right, he's going to become the Monarch again when he plays it.
Correct, but also like David just has literal nothing.
On the board. So if he does get something, right, it's like, well, I'm going to take it back eventually. But this is going to further snowball cement Sia kind of getting further and further ahead in card advantage.
Yeah. Interestingly, a few turns back where we saw the Wasteland hit the Savannah, I think it was, that was David's only green source. And green is like one of the main colors in his deck, so he might actually be locked out from playing spells, because right now he's got a lot of red and black mana. He has the white mana from Krakus, but no green to be seen.
I wanted to see if there's a breakdown of the percentage. I don't see it.
You can maybe group by color, maybe? Color identity, huh?
Yeah, 28 green sources.
Ooh. 20 green sources or 28 green cards?
Yeah.
No. See, look, like Golgari,
so
Selesnya.
So
there's a lot of cards that are green in his deck.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And with no green on the board, this is not looking good. Look at this Monarch token. It's happening. Let's go. It's happening. Okay, draw 3 on the end step. Draws another. Draw 4.
I mean,
I don't know. This just you got this, Dave. Positive mindset.
Stay positive.
Okay, he just untaps and says, "Go ahead. It's your turn."
I mean,
there's a green thing. It's a green. It can get green.
Wait, what is that?
This is the new
Stern
one.
Scolding.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring that up.
Power 2, toughness or power
toughness,
2 or less. Now this card
slaps.
Slaps.
Another 1 mana counter spell that Sia's like, bam.
Yeah.
Okay. My gosh.
This is in a white plume.
Folks, this Sia is just taking David at this point. I feel and just
he's taking the initiative in this game. He's taking the initiative and putting his foot forward.
It's horrible.
I know.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're David, what are the possible sequence of events at this point that you can have occur?
I draw green land.
Short of Sia like
Oh, no.
having a heart attack and dropping dead.
And spontaneous combustion of his cards.
Right.
This is going to be tough.
Like, I'm looking
need-
here.
He's drawing a card, going through the dungeon. Oh, yeah.
Monarch and Initiative, the Church and State.
The Church and
of
State is
Magic.
coming for him, and unfortunately, Dave is having to pay tax
Like,
on all of it.
Like, I'm looking through these cards. I don't
He doesn't
know
have
if it's
anything on the
possible.
board that is establishing. And how many mountains does he have? 2?
So,
Oh, he got a green land.
the other problem too is like Sia's hand is full of cards.
Counterspells.
Like, well, yeah,
He drew 3.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think that there's any possible way that that he can come out of this short of Sia
Yeah.
literally dropping dead or like getting hit with a meteor or something like that.
It looks like he went into what? The Lost Well is this year? Is that what it's called? Lost Well and then Traps next? Is that what it's
It's on the
called?
left-hand
Abrupt
side.
Decay. Okay, that's good. Like,
Yeah, but the opponent still has the initiative.
Forge, sorry.
Forge, yeah. Put 2 counters on the creature.
Yeah, so that's-
This is the aggressive line,
Yeah.
right? So Sia feels like he's in the driver's seat, and if this gets to attack, he's going to draw another 3 cards.
Okay, maybe he doesn't cast Ancestral Recall. Okay, yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, okay.
man.
So he's going to draw 4 cards in 1 turn because he has the Monarch still.
Yeah, let's bring up Dreadhorde Arcanist. So this can target Ancestral Recall in his yard, and that would allow him to draw 3 more cards, which I hear is pretty good.
That's pretty good. And he doesn't even have to spend mana on it. Okay, well, he has a Wrenn in 6. Honestly, I let this resolve.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Okay, he picks up Strip Mine.
No,
I feel like you just still win the game, maybe. Okay, Remand, that's pretty good.
That's effectively a time walk because
Yeah.
he can't recast
Yeah,
it.
he has no green.
Brutal.
And he drew a card for that.
Brutal. I mean, I think Sia could have arguably just let it happen, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Why?
So here comes the second Ancestral Recall, which I think we clarified earlier is the one that kills you. Yeah.
This is, drawing so many cards. He's drawn for Monarch each turn.
Yeah.
For his end of turn, I
He
should
drew
say.
a card off the initiative when it starts to get the basic land out of your deck.
Yep. He drew off the effective Remand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ancestral Recall, draw 3. Was that
Looks like
Pyroblast?
Teferi, Pyrokinesis, and March of Otherworldly Light is what he drew off of.
He has to have
Ancestral
more than
Recall.
7 cards now, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I don't think he cares.
This is, this.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Plus.
to be fair, based on the way that David's deck is, his deck
This
is
is
not the type to come back from like a big
No.
deficit. Like he is looking to be kind of aggressive, and not aggressive in the term of like Red Green Monsters deck would or Red Deck Wins would. Like
Yep.
he is just looking to put his game plan into play as quickly as possible and put something out that is very locks you out or becomes very difficult to deal with. And in all these games, like he hasn't really had what he needed. And
Wow, discard 4 cards.
yeah, that's a
11
bad sign when
cards in
your
hand?
opponent
Oh my.
discards 4. So I don't know, like maybe going back to resolving mulligans.
Yeah.
Maybe David has to be more aggressive
Yeah.
with mulliganing into something that he knows can make him fast.
And fast. Need
Fast,
for speed fast.
Yeah, we were talking about fast combo. We need
Yeah,
fast lands.
fast. Like Rick kind of fast almost in
Yeah.
what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, ping, 3? Teferi just makes this rough.
Yeah.
Not that Dave has much other. Okay, that's good, but what? Okay, you're gonna start hitting his lands. But it's
Again, I don't think he
still
cares
more-
at this
no.
point. Like he's the damage has been done.
Yeah. He's going into the next kind of part as well, right? He's gonna get trapped. He's gonna go down to 9 just from trap. He's gonna go down to 8 from the attack.
Yep.
That's gonna be tough. And it's Teferi.
Yep.
Yeah, get the strip mine.
Yeah, like David really needs to have like a loop, like illustrate a loop of Fast Bond, Crucible, Zurin Orb,
Yeah,
and like gain
exactly.
infinite life, and maybe that's enough. But yeah, there's just so many
Yeah.
things that Sia has at this point.
You draw 2? Yep, draw 2, destroy target artifact.
Flame of Anor looking insane in this.
We've seen it a lot today, I feel like it too, haven't we, Adam? We saw it last round as well, right? Did we?
No, it was last game.
Last
game.
game.
Yeah.
Okay, last game it was. So it seemed to be putting in work today.
Wonder if we'll ever see a finish cycle for Yavimaya and Urborg. I doubt it, to be
If
quite
everything
honest.
became mountains, Valakut would be.
I mean, yeah, you
very-
already have.
yeah.
Well, you already have that. It's
As
called
a
Blood
creature.
Moon.
Okay, yeah, I guess. But I guess depending on how you
that's
do
the,
the stack, the
that's the
layering
cycle.
of things, right? Yeah, Blood Moon, Magus of the Moon.
Yeah. No, I just doubt it. I mean, that's
Making everything islands.
yeah.
That seems pretty good.
I mean, you have the card that slowly makes everything islands. That was like a favorite of mine back in the day of like casual-ish commander,
Yeah.
Quicksilver Fountain.
I don't know that one.
Oh
Actually.
yeah.
No, I don't know that one.
It just turns things into islands, and then once everything
This
is
is like a
islands,
spreading
it
seas?
turns them all back into whatever they were before.
island.
No island, please.
God. Yeah, it's just the high tide just seems like it just gets so good.
Yeah.
You know, best card in the game, Island. Island go.
Well, yeah, Sia is kind of showing us that best land in the game is island.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless something drastic happens, it looks like we will be having Jeskai Green versus
Fury.
Sultai Wilderness Reclamation
Yeah.
in the finals here. Sia, we've had Jeskai Green this entire time.
Whoops.
Let's fix that. Jeskai. No one saw this. No one noticed
Nope.
it.
We'll edit
Yeah.
the VOD.
Bam. All right. Yeah,
This is looking pretty tough. Fury's
Yeah.
in play now too, right? 6 damage on the board just from that.
I mean,
7
David has nothing to lose by playing this out, but I
No.
think he's just
prolonging almost the inevitable.
going through the motions.
I
at
like
this
it. I
point,
always play it
unfortunately.
out, especially in a tournament like this. You know,
Oh yeah,
trying to see what Sia has in his hand there. It looks pretty tough. So, is finals best of 5?
no.
I don't.
I need to
think
get
so.
home at a reasonable hour. So no. You
So-
misspelled color?
C-O-L-O-U-R.
No, sorry, we are Canadian, so this is the correct way of
Yeah,
spelling color.
sorry, spazzy, whack job.
Oh,
as the handle says in there.
awkward.
So,
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I
Yeah,
repeat the
see?
same thing as yours says there for it. So, yeah, we Canadian spelling ways, I guess, of it, right? We put a U in there for fun.
Don't talk to us about lieutenant. That's a wild ride. That is a wild ride.
Is Dave just looking at the card and just being like, this game's over? I'm looking at his hand. That's what? Force of will? What else does he have? He's
It
got
is
like at
loaded
least
with
three. He has to have at least 2. Is that Dave going like, I'm done?
Probably.
I bet.
Probably. Get your you out of here. You get out of here. What are we
Oh,
just putting it right
animate
into the bin?
dead.
Wait, what
What,
is
what,
this
how does
happening?
that in there?
I don't know. Oh, the green-red surveil land.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the name of
In
it.
your sense. What's the name of those ones? I don't know the names of the new
Yeah.
surveil ones. Oh, he tried playing this card earlier.
Not
in the
Lush
day.
Portico, but it's along the same lines.
Yeah. We talked about these. I think they're really good. I think they're great for these decks that are trying to either fill their graveyard right or just give them a little bit of a
Not the
scry
Raucous
mechanic,
Theater.
surveil mechanic.
Yeah, he's playing like 4 of them in this deck, which
Oh,
I don't
he
know.
completed the dungeon.
Feels maybe a
Is
bit
it top?
much.
Yeah. Top 7 cards. He doesn't have much to hit in creature-wise.
What's going on here? Oh, this is
Oh,
frozen.
Tarmogoyf he's gonna hit.
Gruul Commercial District is the name
That's
of
the name.
red-green.
That's a nice name of a card. Thanks. What a nice name
Will.
of a card.
All right. I mean, while we wrap up this game, worth calling out what we're doing here for people that are maybe just tuning in. So this is the Canadian Highlander Invitational for Enter the Battlefield Newmarket. So this is Newmarket, Ontario, Canada, for all of you folks that are maybe from other parts of the world. We have a local Canadian Highlander scene here. Have monthly tournaments that kind of feed into once roughly every half year invitational. I think we're kind of sorting out exactly what the time scale of the next one will happen. And today is the top 8, and so this is currently the second semifinal match, and the winner of this will be going on to play in the finals versus Matthew on Sultai Reclamation.
And I think either player, right? It's looking like it's going to be, at this time, will be a good matchup. I'm quite interested to see this Jeskai Green versus the Reclamation. And yeah, that's game. It looks like it.
Yeah.
Here. So Bolt again. Bolt. 6. Yeah, that's
Bolt.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think. Oh, he's just at 1.
What?
Ooh.
What? Maybe not. Okay. Fate seal you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. Keep it on top.
Yeah. So for anyone who has ever played against, or whoever has not played against Jace the Mind Sculptor, the ability for them to look at any card on top of a deck, it can be your opponent's. If that happens to you and then they leave it on top, is basically the worst feeling in the world, because that means they don't care about this card. It is a non-card. It's a land, or it's a card they can deal with. It's not going to help you. You're basically toast at that point. So
and it looks like we might be scooping it up in a moment.
Yeah, Jeskai Green putting up numbers. Sure. I mean, it's a very good deck. This is a
board state. And Sia. Yeah, look at that hand of blue cards. So many blue cards.
So I don't know exactly what other decks David was considering for this tournament. We talked a little bit about that Phyrexian Dreadnought list that he plays.
Yeah, and he's played into some other tournaments too, I think, here, right? So.
Yeah, no, and he actually won, I think, one of the monthlies that we had here, going undefeated with Stiflenaught.
Yep.
So, based on what I know of him and the decks he plays and the cards he has, he probably was considering Stiflenaught or this deck, or he plays like a Jund Madness type deck, which has a lot of like crazy stuff going on as well. Yeah, like obviously this deck worked out well for him in the first round against his bro, Rick, but there's
There's the handshake, and that closes it out.
Let's. I'll update the. Oh,
you want to update the bracket?
We'll do this. And then I'm going to update the bracket. Well,
good work to both of them.
Yes.
I think that the first game it felt a lot closer than the second game, and even then it was still a really tough matchup, I think, for Dave the entire way. Felt like he never got his footing on the ground, and Sia was just able to kind of continue with his game plan and not be interrupted throughout the entire way. And he could interrupt Dave. So good on both of them, really good plays. Good work with the stifling of things appropriately throughout that. And that will kind of make us have our final matchup of the day for Camlander. And we're excited for it. I'm excited for it. We have Matthew will pull it up right now. We have Jeskai Green versus Sultai Reclamation.
Yep. It's been a lot of powerful Magic. Some random plays that were maybe a little less powerful. You can, for folks that are just tuning in, you can go back to the VODs after we post this on I believe our YouTube channel, the Enter the Battlefield YouTube channel. We have Matthew here and Sia that are going to be facing off in our last round shortly. So I think what we're going to do is take another short break. Thank you for the folks that have stuck with us for the day, or as you've popped in and out. It looks like some new folks have followed. Want to call out or shout out Alice6677.
Thank you.
And everyone else that's followed or subbed. Enter the Battlefield does streams not only on days like today, but every week actually, and we're doing all sorts of things from Canadian Highlander weekly stuff. We're doing Dan and recently we did the Fallout Commander decks, so a 4-player Commander game. So lots of cool stuff that we're doing here in the shop, and would love for you to watch and also to join us if you're in the area. So anything else, Will, before we go to break here?
Just hit us with a follow if you can. Subscribe to the other social media platforms that we have. We'll probably drop a link tree or in the piece. Check us out on the website if you're looking for any card needs. So we'll come back after this short break with the finals, okay? And we'll see you soon, everybody, okay?